Queensland.
Welcome to Afternoons with Kat Feeney.
Well, it's more likely that you have had or will have the experience of a sty in your eye at some point in your life. But what can you do to limit the pain, to get relief? What causes a sty in the first place? And is there a secret cure? Well, for more, you're joined by Julie Newport, optometrist with ICU Optometry. Julie, hello.
Hello, Kat.
Why sty? I can't remember the last time I had a sty. What causes a sty?
Well, it's an inflammation in one of the oil glands in the eyelids. We've got about 100 of them altogether.
Yep.
Every time we blink, we get this little suction effect immediately after we blink, and a tiny little bit of clear liquid oil comes out of each one of these glands, ideally, and then that coats your tears and stops them from evaporating off the warm surface of your eyes. So very, very clever, except they block up really easily.
Oh. Why do they block up? Is this because I've been wearing too much mascara or I've got a deficient hole in my eye? What's the problem?
Because our immune systems are trawling around our eyes a lot. So our immune systems are on high alert around our eyes at the best of times. And we want that because if you get a bit of rubbish in there that's covered in bacteria or something, you want your immune system saying, no, you don't. But the price we pay is that you get inflammation, which will cause all sorts of swelling and other problems around the eyes as a result.
Yikes. So you get that big swollen blob on your eyelid.
A big swollen blob, and it hurts.
It would hurt.
It does hurt because it leans against all these nerves.
Okay, so you've got the sty. You're thinking, oh dear, what shall I do?
First thing to do,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, when you ever just suspect you've got a sty, and if you've ever had one before, you'll know you can feel it in your waters. And so it's just whenever you start to blink and think, oh, something's a bit tender there. Oh, no, I've got another sty coming on.
Okay.
Hit it with heat, and more heat.
Heat, really, like a warm washer or something?
Warm washers don't tend to hold their heat very well.
Okay.
So also they're wet and messy, and we have enough problems with compliance anyway.
Okay.
So a gel hot pack. So they're readily available in pharmacies and optometry practices, supermarkets even, and they hold their heat really, really nicely. Whack them in the microwave or a sink full of hot water, warm them right up past the point of comfort, but not quite scalding,
Yep.
and then wrap them up in a clean paper towel once or twice. Test it against the inside of your arm to make sure it's now comfortable and safe, but still very warm.
Okay.
Hold that against your closed eyelid for about 3 minutes.
Oh,
And
that just sounds
really,
nice.
really nice. It's great.
should do that anyway.
Oh, yeah. And then with clean hands afterwards, just give it a bit of a push, a bit of a shove, a bit of a massage. Do that 3 times a day. And if you get it early enough, that should, fingers crossed, eyes crossed, nail the problem.
What if it doesn't? What if your sty develops?
As they do.
What can happen? What can happen?
Well, the very worst thing that can happen with a sty is that you get enough infection in there, and this is very, very rare,
Yes.
that you get enough infection in there that the whole eyelid socket becomes infected.
Oh, God.
That's an emergency. You need to go to the hospital. But fortunately, that is very, very, very rare, but it's important that people do recognise that and go to the hospital if they start feeling ill and they've got a swollen eyelid. Go straight to the hospital and point it out, and everybody will say, oh my God, get you on IV antibiotics.
It's not a contagious thing. It's not
Absolutely
like
not.
conjunctivitis or something. This is just something that's happened because of
We're all covered in bacteria.
the bacteria
Yeah.
that lives on you. All right. Now, Jan has said, Julie Newport, when she was a kid, she was told to rub your sty with a gold ring.
And you know what?
What?
I've thought about that a lot.
Okay.
And these days, some of these old wives' tales, they really might hold some water.
Okay.
In that gold is now being used in medications for inflammatory diseases.
Huh.
So there's something to it. But I don't know if it actually works with styes. But yeah, gold is anti-inflammatory.
Fascinating. Thank you, Jan. If you've got a question about styes or eye health for optometrist Julie Newport, you can call now on 1300 222 612. We've got Julie for a few more minutes before we hit the 2:00 news. Styes, are they affected by the weather or climate or anything like that? Like, are they worse in winter or summer? Is there any kind of seasonal effect on the sty?
They seem to often come on when people are really stressed, though.
Okay.
And that makes a lot of sense because when you're stressed, you've got cortisol coursing through your system, which is the stress hormone. That upsets your bacteria in your large intestine, and then that pumps out a whole pile of pro-inflammatory chemicals, and next thing you know, the person's got a sty.
Eesh. Are kids prone to it?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're little grubs.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all? But is there any different treatment that you need to keep in mind for a little one? Or still the warmth and the seek
Look,
attention?
the heat is still going to be the best thing for a little kid, and the earlier the better.
And what about preventing styes in the first place?
Just don't be stressed. Just don't. And don't be covered in bacteria and don't have an active immune system. So good luck not getting a sty.
Yeah. Okay. A sty, once it's established, and if it's not treated properly, even with treatment, how long do they stick around for?
Oh, months. Some of them can stick around
Months?
for months because, yeah, with some of them, they'll turn themselves into this little rock hard pea looking thing under the lid. Anyone who's ever had one of those will just be rolling their eyes and saying, yeah, I've got one of those right now. They're really hard to get rid of because they are rock hard. And so they
And
don't.
that's just pus and stuff? What is what is
like
that?
It's like an encrusting on the outside of
Okay.
the thing. So, yeah. And they often, when we see those, we say, oh, look, if it's just not responding to heat and it's been weeks and weeks and weeks, then off you go to the ophthalmologist and we'll get that cut out, which is not nice, but it's done and it's final.
Right. So bottom line, when you've got a sty coming on and you can feel it in your waters,
Yes.
bit of heat as quickly as you can.
And
it's
3 times a
safer.
day.
3 times a
3
day.
times a day for 3 minutes at a time, followed by a bit of pushing, bit of shoving.
And as ever, if things do develop, please do seek medical attention.
I'll go see the optometrist first.
Okay.
And they'll be able to send you on to ophthalmology if they can't handle it in their own practices.
Julie Newport, you've been ever so helpful. Thank you so much.
thank you.
From ICU Optometry, Julie Newport, optometrist on 612 ABC Radio, Brisbane and Queensland. Just ahead, your 2 o'clock edition of the ABC News, you'll hear about how